So I guess when it rains, it pours. It's not raining here, but the troubles are coming in. Nobody but a fool goes into the rocks after a wounded Apache. What book or what famous movie is that from, guys? I watched that movie the other day. I've not watched that movie in a long time, but I'm reading the book for the 5th time right now on Audible. Leave me a comment below if you know what movie that is. The star in the movie, here's your hint, the guy that played the main character in the movie, his first name is Sam. That's not the character in the movie, that's the actor's name. So there's your hint. It's a pretty good movie, and the book is even better. All right, guys, I have a lot to get done this week. It's Monday morning. The first thing on the schedule is to finish some mowing before it starts raining tomorrow. This is the Ironcraft brush hog. It's a 1206, I think it's the model number. Really good brush hog. This is the best one I've ever owned. I've owned several. I've had this one about a year. And one reason I really like this one is because it has a slip clutch right there on the PTO. For those of you not familiar with tractors, or maybe you'll never be around one your entire life, this is the PTO shaft right here. It goes to the tractor that sends the power to the brush hog. If you get binded up on something, instead of having a shear bolt that breaks to protect your machine, this has a slip clutch, so it starts spinning and loses force on your attachment until that clears, and then it re-engages. If you have a shear bolt, it works fine too, but you gotta get out of your machine and change it out every time. Those are a lot nicer, but they're more expensive. So I started brush hogging yesterday up here below the cemetery, and I got pulled off that job because the guy that buys my hay showed up, and I'm not complaining. I was needing to get rid of that stuff. So he bought all our bales yesterday, so we're completely out of hay now, which is good because I don't know when I'm gonna get cows this year. It's looking more like next spring, to be honest with you. But anyways, I got pulled off that job. I need to get up there and get that finished this morning before we move on to something else. You guys hang in there. We got a lot going on today. All right, guys, this part of the farm is about 4 acres. It's up here near the road, where it's kind of steep, and the cemetery is just up here on the top of the hill. And somebody asked me in the last video what the name of the cemetery was. I thought it was the Conklin Cemetery. It's actually called the Lone Star Cemetery. I was totally wrong about that. You'd think I know since I own all the land around it. So anyways, this is about 4 acres. And we're gonna put cows up here eventually, and there's a creek over here beside me. I'm probably gonna fence on the other side, on the other side of the creek. Now we cut hay up here just about a month ago, and it's grown up just a little since then, but not too much. I think I'm gonna mow it down, and it should be good for the winter. And if everything goes right, I'll get my fence done this winter and bring cows in the spring. That's my plan, but you guys see what happens on this channel sometimes. Things always don't go as planned, especially with me, it seems like, but that's what I'm hoping anyway. This is about 4 acres. I think I'd put me maybe 3 or 4 cows up here. Depends on what breed I get. I'm leaning toward the Dexters though, because you can have more of those per acre because they're smaller. Or at least that's what Pete says on Just a Few Acres Farm. And I'd say Pete's right. He knows a lot more than I do about cows. So anyways, So we'll mow this flat part first because there's still some dew on the ground, and that hill up there is probably a little slick. So by the time we get this mowed, we'll move over to the hill, and then we'll move on to something else. And you guys hang in there. This just isn't a video about brush hogging. I'll see you in just a minute. Alright friends, that right there looks a lot better. Should be done mowing that until next year. Alright guys, it's about lunchtime. I'll have to eat lunch about 11 o'clock. I think I'll run to the house and grab something, go back down here, maybe throw something on the sawmill. I'll see you guys in just a minute. Alright guys, we're down here at the sawmill, and there's something I need to do that I haven't done it yet, other than get some dust collection down here. I'll do that sooner than later. I need to bring down my log bunts that I put over here on the ground to keep the logs out of the dirt. They're white oak 6x6s. They're up at the other building. Let's go grab them. All right, guys, we got a good one on the Sawmill. This is black walnut. It's a 12-footer. The diameter on the operator's side at the widest point is 25 inches. On the other side, I had to move the Sawmill down because I got to put a new blade on it. We're looking at about 26 inches, and there is a crotch right there on the top. That's the good stuff right there, guys. That's what we're going for. That crotch figure hiding right in there. Should be pretty good. We're gonna be sawing this into live edge slabs, 9/4. That's 2 1/4 inches on the thickness if you're new to this channel. And this log, friends, has been down for at least 2 years. This belongs to a friend of mine. He brought it over a few months ago, and we're sawing this on halves, which means he gets half and I gets half. It's pretty simple. It's a sawmill term a lot of people use. Not many people do halves anymore. And I'm not a huge fan of it unless it's walnut or something like this. It's pretty valuable. But when it comes to walnut, it's good money. It's always good money, and I didn't have to buy this log. That's the best part of it. So friends, let's open this one up and see what it looks like. There's a chance. Oh no, oh my goodness. I'm glad I looked down right then. There's a nail sticking out right down here. My goodness, I did not see that until I just glanced down. Thank goodness I just saw that, and hopefully there's not more than one nail, but you never know. But anyways, before we pull that out, like I was saying, there's a chance for another crotch figure right here on this side. So we may have 2 crotch figures in this log and some metal. This was probably a yard tree, more than likely. Man, right there it is, guys. It was right in front of me. Pretty good sized nail right there. I'm just glad I saw it, and hopefully that's the only one. Probably won't be though. Use my old school nail puller to get this out. And whenever you're sawing on halves and you hit metal and it starts costing you some blades, that's when you call your buddy and let him know what's going on, because somebody's got to pay for this, and it ain't going to be me. Got to work that into the agreement somehow. Man, that one's in there right there. It's a pretty good sized nail right there. Looky there. That would have been a bad day right there. I would have ruined a blade for sure on something like that. I get asked all the time, why don't you have a metal detector? Well, here's why. There's 2 reasons. Reason number 1, a proper metal detector for logs is really expensive. It's several $1,000s. And reason number 2 is most of the metal on my logs you never see on the outside. That's pretty rare right there. I hardly ever see a nail sticking out. So if I have a walnut on the mill, and let's say I'll spend $2,000 for that fancy metal detector and it shows there's metal in that log, I'm still going to saw it up. And I'm not going to sit there and spend my time drilling into that log trying to find that nail, because that's going to ruin slabs. That's going to ruin my time, for one. It's going to take forever, and it just doesn't make sense. With a band sawmill, a saw blade's about 20 or 30 bucks. You can resharpen them, reset them most of the time, and you're back to sawing. So you're not really losing a whole lot of money right there as far as blades go, especially on walnut. Now, if I had a circle sawmill like Mark DeLacy or Andrew, those other guys on YouTube that use those big circle mills, that's pretty important, because a circle saw blade is several $1,000s. I think a small one's like $3 grand or something. That's why they scan their logs. If it shows metal, they don't saw them because of that. With the band sawmill, you can still saw them. It's going to be aggravating, but it's not going to be as costly. That's why I don't have a metal detector. But maybe one day I'll buy one. Who knows? right, friends, I made 3 cuts so far. The opening face cut went just fine. We made our first cut for the slabs. No problem there. On the 3rd cut, things went bad. Let me show you. So on that 3rd cut, I noticed right about here, I started seeing some smoke coming off the blade, and I knew I hit some metal. I didn't hear it though, but I knew I hit something. And right there's the stain, and there is the metal right there. And after we hit that, the blade got hot and it started smoking. Naturally, metal expands when it gets hot, so it got loose. So the blade went upward just a little right there. It was nice and flat right here. Then it starts going up. It went back down a little. Got some terrible washboarding going on. Right down here, it started taking a dip on me. I didn't think I was going to finish the cut, to be honest with you. And as we go down through here, I sped up just a little to try to get out of this mess. And I was able to get out of it. And we got some nice crotch grain right there. That's one good thing, I guess. But we hit some metal, guys. And that blade only had 3 cuts on it. 3 cuts. And Joe, Maine, if you're watching, I'll be calling you in the morning, buddy. I'm getting low on blades here. Getting really low on blades. Man, that's aggravating. I think that's a nail, but I'm not sure. And that just messes up this whole surface right here. And also messes up that slab that I just cut, because that's 9/4. I'll probably put that back on the mill at the very end, that slab that has all this stuff in it right here, because this will be in that slab. And I'll go ahead and make that an 8/4 slab just to clean it up a little. Man, that's aggravating. But with sawmilling, that's the way it goes sometimes. And I always tell myself, it could be a whole lot worse. There it comes. Looks like it's a big old nail. And if you're curious where I got this tool, people ask me all the time. This is made by Crescent. And I found this on Amazon a couple of years ago, and it sure does work good on nails. If you're looking for this, I'll leave a link down below to Amazon if I can find it. That's where I got mine. Hopefully they're still selling it, but you never know. Right there it is, friends. Big old nail right there. Look at that. Man, that's aggravating, but that's part of it. But check this out. So the only part that the saw blade hit was right there on the head of the nail. Look at that. That's the only part that hit it. If I'd have been a little bit higher on that cut, I would have messed this nail. Then I would have went below it with the next cut, and this nail would have been stuck inside of a slab. And that's not good either. I don't want to pass it on to a customer. I'd rather it happen to me than them. But that right there is all that it hit, guys. Right there on the head of the nail. The head of the nail right there. That's pretty interesting. Let's put a new blade on and get back at it. All right, guys, so when it rains, it pours, and it's not raining here right now. The problem is my main camera up here at the sawmill, my Canon, it's dead. I've used 3 new batteries. It won't come on anymore. And that's usually what happens after about a year of use making sawmill videos. The GoPros last sometimes 2 years, sometimes 6 months. It depends how many times I drop them. But the Canon cameras, they last about 10 to 12 months. I had one last 2 years one time, and that was rare, but most of them after about a year, they're done. And this one today is probably done. And the reason being, all the sawdust. I've had them clean before. It doesn't do any good. It's a nasty environment when you make sawmill videos, and there's no way of keeping a camera dust-free. There's just no way of doing it. I've tried every way in the world. Oh, having said all that, I'm done for the day. I'm gonna grab some dinner, head up to Best Buy, spend about $1,000 more than likely on a new camera, and come back here in the morning with you guys and fight this log some more. All right, guys, we're back down here at the sawmill. It's the next day, and we may have some weather here in a few minutes move in on us. Supposed to have some thunderstorms in about an hour. But we'll see what we can get done before it starts raining. We're going to try to finish up this walnut today. I think the first cut we'll do, we'll flip this 180 and start at the bottom. That way, if there is another nail close to that one, although I don't see any signs of it, we'll hit it on the last cut, hopefully. On the Sawmill, we got a brand new blade, Joe Maine Silver Tip Turbo 7. You want those blades, you guys know what to do. Call Joe. And for those of you that are curious, I did go buy a new camera last night. $1,100. Yep, $1,100. I tell you what, it doesn't look too bad right now, but they say the storm will be here in about 30 minutes. Hopefully it misses us, but I just heard some thunder coming from that direction. All right, guys, when it's all said and done, I should get 6 slabs out of this log. This last one right here is good on the top, but the underside is where that metal was, so I got to clean that up. And I got the pith right there toward the bottom, so I'll probably do 8/4 on this one. That way I get rid of all that metal imperfection on the bottom, and also, more importantly, I get rid of the pith as well. And that one's pretty nice. It's 23 inches wide. And there's hardly any taper down through there. That's a really nice slab right there. And here's the other ones. It turned out pretty good, guys, pretty good. I got a little bit of checking on this one right here toward the outside where the bark was, but not too bad. That's character wood right there, guys. Character wood. Put some bow ties in that, and it'll look just fine. And before I get done today, I'm going to dig that one out way over there at the bottom, because that one has the crotch figure in it. And you know what we're going to do with that one? We're going to throw some water on it. You guys hang in there. right, friends, for those of you curious, we got 7 slabs out of that log, about 350 board feet, give or take about 10 foot. Kind of hard to measure these live edge slabs and get a real accurate measurement when you have the varying widths. It turned out pretty good, except for this one on the very top. I mean, it's a salvageable slab. You can probably plane this down to 6/4 after it comes out of the kiln and get a nice slab. There's no more metal in it, but this one had 2 nails right there. Just something you got to work with. I hate to throw it away. The guy that I sell these to, these are all going wholesale to the same person. I'll sell him this one at a reduced rate, and he'll still get something out of it, and I'll get some money out of it, so it's a win-win. But like I was saying, all 7 of these, the reason I have them dead stacked right here is because the buyer will be here probably in about 2 days, and he'll pick these up and take them back to his sawmill. He'll let them air dry there and then go through a kiln, and then he'll put them in his wood store. So that's how I sell a lot of my slabs here. You guys ask me all the time who buys my slabs. Most of the time it's wholesale, and a lot of the times it's green like this. You don't get as much money when it's green, but it's fast money. You don't have to full drying it or handle it or nothing like that, and you can get it out of the way and move on to something else. All right, guys, so in closing here, Paul Bunyan's coming up in less than 2 weeks. I'll be there Saturday, October the 5th at the Wood-Mizer booth. I'm not sure what time I'll be there. I'll be in and out all day, so if you come by the booth and I'm not there, go look at something else and come back in about an hour. I'm probably eating lunch or getting some coffee. But I should be there for most of the day on Saturday. I will not be there on Friday or Sunday. If you see me there Friday, I'm probably there as a spectator just like you looking around at stuff, but I'll be there with Wood-Mizer on Saturday. And I talked to Wood-Mizer this morning. They're gonna have an LT70 there. They're gonna have this edger that I have, the same exact edger there. So they should have a lot of equipment going on up there, and they plan on doing a lot of sawmilling while they're there. So maybe Saturday, if I'm not too busy, I'll get to run their 70 for a little while. So in closing here, friends, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And I really look forward to seeing you guys in Ohio here in about 2 weeks.